Alright, welcome to a video on domain and range, and I have this in parentheses as simple because this is going to be a very simple basic video just where we're going to input some domains that define the range of some linear and then quadratic functions. So we're not going to go too in depth here since we're still at the beginning of the year. We're just going to do something simple, get our feet wet, that way when we go on later we'll have this background, this foundation for that. So, a couple definitions. So, remember from our functions video, we have our inputs and our outputs. Well, our domain is our inputs of our function and our range is the output of our function. So our domain is what we put in that function machine, the range is what the machine gives us back. So we're just going to get right into it. We're going to do two examples, one with this linear function. So we're going to find the range of y equals 2x minus 3 given our domain of -4, -3, 0, and 2. So we already know that this is a function. Both of these things we have are already going to be functions. We don't have to worry and check to see if they are or not. We're just going to find the domain of this function. So what we do is we take all of these values here and we're going to plug them in for our x values. Those go in for the x value. So our x value is our input value, and then our y is going to be our output value, so that's going to be our range. So we're just going to go through and do that. So we do for -4, so y equals 2, and remember we put this in parentheses. 2 times -4 minus 3, we get -8 minus 3, which is -11. So when the domain is -4, our range is -11, our input output. Now we're going to do that with -3. Again, put it in parentheses, and we get -6 minus 3, which is -9. Now we're going to do the same thing with the 0 and the 2. So 0, y equals 2 times 0 minus 3. We know anything times 0 is 0, and then 0 minus 3 is -3. And then we do it with 2. We get y equals 2 times 2 in parentheses minus 3. We get 4 minus 3, which is 1. So our domain values are -4, -3, 0, and 2. Our range values for that are -11, -9, -3, and 1. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here with this quadratic. We have f of x equals x squared plus 3x minus 1 given the domain of -2, -1, 1, and 3. So we're just going to plug in these domain values for our x's. So we have f of -2. That's going to give us -2 squared, and remember again, parentheses, parentheses, parentheses. If you're putting it in somewhere, if you're substituting, put it in parentheses. So -2 squared is positive 4. 3 times -2 is -6 minus 1. That will give us -3. Now we're going to take f of -1. -1 in parentheses squared plus 3 times -1 minus 1. So it gives us 1 minus 3 minus 1. Remember, whenever we square something, it's always going to give us a positive when that negative is inside the square, inside the parentheses, and is being squared with it. It's really easy to make a mistake and write a -1 or a -4 like we did before. So we do. So we get -3 for that one as well. And that's okay. The reason that is okay is because, remember, we can have the same output with different inputs. So remember, it's okay. What would be bad is if I plugged in -2 again here and I got something else. That's what would be bad. So it's okay to get the same range. with different domains. So now we take f of 1, so 1 squared plus 3 times 1 minus 1, so we'll get 1 plus 3 minus 1, that gives us positive 3, and now we're going to do f of positive 3, and we get 3 squared plus 3 times 3 minus 1, which gives us 9, plus 9 minus 1, which is 17. So these are our range values for that given domain. And that's the video here. As I said, it's just pretty simple. This will help you with the problems that we're going to do so you can get them done. And we'll be able to move on to more complicated things.